What is up, gents? 40k Dirtbags here, #1 Grey Knight player in the world. Super stoked about that, but we got a video coming at you today. It's going to be based on LVO. Grey Knight's kind of crushing it, going back from the last edition, going into Orcs of Omen. LVO was not Orcs of Omen, sadly, so we didn't get to really test out the full potential. But our boy Quinn, shout out to you. We just really did very well. There was a lot of good Grey Knight players at LVO this time. This is my first time going. And we actually were able to get enough points, guys, to place top Grey Knight player in the world ranked, which I was super happy about. That's kind of like the whole point of me going to LVO. Like, I didn't think I would go 5-1, honestly, just because it was old school rules, but it pushed us enough to really hit what we were trying to go for with our Grey Knight army. I kind of messed up throughout the year. I did Death Guard with Gunthe, which we won, and I didn't get any points for Grey Knights for that. And then we took Death Guard to Nova, which again, I didn't get any points for Death Guard, Grey Knights. It was all going to Death Guard. But we ran Grey Knights at LVO. If you guys saw me, I really appreciate you coming up to me. Thank you for all my Patreons. A couple of you guys came up to me and hung out while we were playing. We made it to the #1 table, and I'll go over that in the video today. But shout out to all you guys that are supporting the channel. If you guys are interested, go over to the Patreon. There's a couple different tiers. There's a regular tier, $1 a month. You guys are just supporting the channel. You like the videos. There's a $5 Justicar, which you get first picks in videos, merch, all that stuff. And then there's the competitive Justicar. Competitive Justicars are guys that really want to kind of collaborate and talk on Discord with me, going over lists, ideas, stuff like that. We get private DMs, so a way we can like go over a bunch of different ideas for you specifically in one of the armies that we play, whether it be Chaos, Grey Knights, Death Guard, or Sisters. So definitely go check that out. But if you guys are new to the channel, hopefully you guys are liking these videos. I always love and read the comments below. So definitely leave comments on how we can improve, what we should do next, ideas, stuff like that, and go join the Discord. Discord, all will be in the link below. But how I do most of my tournament videos, this one was very hard to do because we played essentially 9 games in 3 days in Las Vegas, which over 1,000 people showed up this year, which is insane. I went with my boy Campbell. He bought a ticket a while ago. He tried to talk me into it. It worked, but I had to wait till the tickets were up for a resale because they were sold out right away. So I got the text, logged right on, bought the ticket. I was like, fuck it, I'm going. Let's do it. So it was a really cool experience. Congrats to the Art of War guy who won first with Blood Angels. I didn't get to play him. Would have been cool, but we're going to go through each match. I didn't take a ton of pictures, but we're going to go through each match, what we improved, what we liked, what we didn't like, the table setup, and I'll give you like my opinion on what I thought of LVO. Maybe you guys are looking into it for next year, but there's a lot to go over in this video, so this video might be a little bit longer than normal. Hopefully that's cool with you guys, but let's go over the first thing. I have this up on my desk board now. It took them a week to post this, but once they posted it, I literally took a screenshot as soon as possible, which right here, guys, we made it to first place. So first place, Derek Apshay, Grey Knights. I got this little trophy, if you guys could see this, 2022 ITC Warhammer 40k Best Grey Knight Faction. Fucking awesome. So I didn't place the best Grey Knight overall at LVO because somebody else went lost their first game and just went seal beaten the whole time and won the last 5 games. I mean, still, if you see his list, it was insane. So congrats to you, brother. And then I came in the next, and then Quinn, who was 1 point away from me, came in the next Grey Knight. I think there was like 3 or 4 Grey Knights that were 5-1 this year, which was insane. This next picture is we got ranked 44th in the United States. So me, just as a player, is ranked 44th in the United States. So shout out to my Patreons who want to get some coaching from me. I am very competitive. I do like this game, especially in 9th edition. I know 10th edition is coming up very soon, but if you guys want some coaching or you just want to hang out and drink some beers and play some games, definitely join the Patreon, definitely go to Discord. And then on the 8th in the Northeast, so look at these names. We got Andrew Gagno, we played him at Goonhammer. TJ Lanigan, we play him almost every GT coming up. Anthony Vanella, Larry Oliver, Jonas Alston, and then me, number 8 in the Northeast. So out of how many people play 40K in the United States, most of them in the fucking Northeast. We got ranked 8th in the Northeast. So really proud of that. That was cool. So again, I just screenshotted all these right when it got updated. And then 90th in the world. So that's cool to say. I'm top 100 in the world. I gotta stop. I keep boasting myself. I apologize, guys. We're fucking dirtbags. But 90th in the world. So I thought it was cool because I told my family, like, hey, I'm number 1 in the world. So it makes me sound cool to them. They're like, oh my God, no way. I'm like, yeah, it's Grey Knights. It's cool. And then for our teams, Cuddle Buddies, that's our team. We are 4th in the Northeast for our team, Cuddle Buddies. So shout out to all the Cuddle Buddies. Let's go. And then we're 57th in the world. We were 69th, which made sense because we were Cuddle Buddies, but we lost that bracket because a lot of us went to the upcoming GTs. We all got points, so we got boosted up to the 57th in the world. This is our intro logo. Don't need that shit. We just added that. That's new. But I tried to make some videos. I didn't get a lot of opportunity to do shorts, which I wanted to. I wanted to like involve you guys, but I just didn't have time. There was just so much going on every single day, and we drank a lot in Vegas. But this is our boy Keeble. We just got off the plane. We're going. I was trying to make shorts. It didn't really work out. And then this was again our boy Keeble. We got our little boxes that we brought for our carry-ons, which worked out perfectly. I packed way too much in clothes, which I felt like a chick just packing way too much. It was bad. This is the first lobby at Rio. So we were at the Rio this year. So again, it was my only year. So it's the only one I know. And then they had the huge Space Marine in the center lobby of the LVO. So that was really cool. A lot of people took a lot of cool pictures with this guy. He's basically everywhere that you go that has 40K GTs. Like this guy shows up. This is the hall. So it was ginormous. Like there's just so many. If you guys haven't been to LVO, this is how big it is. There's so many tables at LVO. It is nuts. And this was our first day. So it was really cool because I actually saw Innis, which we played the last GT, and like he remembered my name, so it was cool. Like, I mean, we beat the number 7th person in the world at the last GT. So trying to get our name, the Dirtbag Nation, kind of out there more was the goal of going to LVO. That's why me and Mike really pushed like getting the Dirtbags, 40K Dirtbags, Dirtbag Nation, like all that stuff. Getting to know like the top players because we see them almost every GT. So if you're doing well, people will remember your name, which is awesome. Now the first day, another cheesy picture of me with the dude. Posted that on Discord. And then this was the Vanguard Tactics. So Keeble signed up for the Vanguard Tactics. He wanted me to sign up as well, so we signed up together. Appreciate you, Keeble. And we got to meet the guys over at Vanguard Tactics. These guys are freaking super nice, super chill. There's Steven. Shout out to them for what they do. They're really trying to grow like the competitive scene and training people on how to get better at this game, which I'm doing a lot of videos, guys, of tactics and ideas and list building and secondaries and everything, making it more to the general public, not specifically just Grey Knights, but a lot of the game. Like mostly I'm trying to kind of take what they're doing well and kind of branching it out to more of the competitive scene. So everybody was there. Jake, who was super hilarious, like he's just like he is in the videos in person. Same with Steven. Steven was super professional, super well put together, and just super nice with talking to just a random YouTuber online. So this is all the people that showed up. It was really cool. That's just him explaining kind of how it was going. That's a cool little picture that we got a shout out. So I posted that on the Discord. And this was like downtown because we got to go have dinner with them afterwards. So it was like all the guys that were in the thing, everybody who was invited, they got to get invited to steak dinner, which was cool. We got to see the Ferris wheel. And this was day one. So this is the first day of everybody showing up. A lot of people were dressed up. They had a lot of flags going, and there was a guy, Elvis. I don't know if you saw that, but there was a guy literally dressed up as Elvis, in Vegas. And let's go over the mission. So again, if you want to pause it here, I'm going to put little time notes hopefully in the bottom below, but we're going to go over every 6 games. There's not a lot of pictures of every game because I was really trying to focus. If I could go 3-0 on day 1, I was really trying to push, again, as many points as I possibly can. So I was really focused on getting 3-0 at least day 1. Because of how many people there are, it's like how likely are you to get matched up with somebody your first game who's like a top 50 player. Our boy Mike got matched up with the #1 Black Legion player. His game 1, it literally was like a mirror match, but you're going against literally the #1 player of your army. So it was a very, very cool game. I think he only lost by like 6 or 7 points. So it was a very close game. And he got to talk and learn a lot of tactics from obviously the #1 player in the world for his faction. So I got lucked out with a lot of nice players, cool players, and we kind of just shot the shit after the game was over. But let's get into it. So our first game was against Orcs. The Orcs player, super fun. Every Orcs player, honestly, is just super chill, super laid back, super fun. And this was his list. So it's a standard Orc build list. Again, this is all Nephilim, so it was before Arcs of Omen, so it's all the same stuff that you saw for the past 6 months. And he ran the 2 kill rigs, kind of same as you always see them running. Sorry, I had to get a glass of water because this is going to be a long video. All right, so we had the 2 kill rigs, 1, 2, 3 squads of the biker dudes. We had Gaz, we had Weird Boy, mech armor, truck, 2 of the dudes that advanced deploy, 2 guys in the truck, more knobs, the bike dude, which everybody has, and I think there was like 3 or 4 bags of Gretchen, right? So kind of the standard Orc build. And if it wasn't for the one guy that I play in Mythicos, shout out to, sorry, I forget your name, but I see him all the time, and it's always a good game against him. If it wasn't for him, there's no way I would have known how to play Orcs. But this is the table setup. So first table setup was, of course, Necrons, which is one of the hardest tables to play on. We had to talk it out and kind of figure out which was what. This flat piece all the way to the left side here, we were counting as the center building, like the same thing, except we were just missing a piece. So of course the first game, good start, we're missing a piece of the terrain. And then these things over here, we talked it out, and they're not supposed to be like you can move through them or land in them, but this one I thought that you couldn't, but you actually can, which I fucked up. So that was almost like game changing right there. This one, same thing, that one over there, and then this one back here. So these 2 were forests, everything else was ruins, and line of sight blocking was really just these guys and these guys. So if you tow any of the buildings, you can shoot through them because there's a lot of windows all around the buildings. So we set up our own terrain in LVO, so it's player placed. This is kind of how we placed it up, and I wanted to put 2 like kind of things here to try, because I know Orcs, they just run forward, so all this big shit can't go around this building, so they could only go either this way or this way. So that was my intent, was to try and like funnel them into either 1 or 2 places that they can go, so that way you can just put all your fire down one line. This was the setup. So basically he got everything back here. Now this was one of the very first times, I think he played Grey Knights once or twice. So that was my advantage going into LVO, was not a lot of players have played Grey Knights as much as we do. If you're in the meta and you've played me a bunch, like you kind of know like you've seen essentially the best Grey Knights can do, like all the tricks and shit that I throw out there. So if you guys are new and you don't play Grey Knights a lot, it's very tricky to figure out what the fuck they do and how to set up for them. So he played very defensively, which most Orc players do not. So he kind of messed up his deployment, and he put a little forest like right in the center, so it blocked most of his movement, like -2 to almost everything. I had happened to go first. We moved essentially everything up. We put banners down, we purified 3 times, and then I took kill shit. So really I'm just trying to get really banners and purify ritual as many times possible on this map, which I'm doing a video on Grey Knight secondaries, and maps like this are perfect for banners and purify, because literally you could do it 3 times, get 4 points every single turn, and just keep your banners up, and you got essentially almost 15 points the entire game with teleport assault now. So missions like this, Grey Knights are super, super good. So again, I'm going to try and shorten this up because we have 6 videos to go through. But what I did here was I moved up, kind of shot and blocked his lanes right here because of the bike. He can't go past this guy because you can't move within engagement range. You can only charge with engagement, but this guy can't move past this one fucking dude right here because he can't go through the building and he can't go this way. So I charged the guys that he advanced to put up here, and I left one guy, which he rolled a 1 to save, so he lived, and then we consolidated right here to block everything else. So that was my turn. I was trying to block him in his zone as much as possible, so that way I can at least move up a little bit further and shoot from afar. So Dread Knights were shooting gas from afar. The other Dread Knight got gated over here and shot these dudes in the back from afar. So we were just launching shots across the table. We killed some of the Gretchen on this thing. Orcs have very, very good secondaries now, and they're even better going into Arcs of Omen. This is one. So I was telling you I was going to do the flag, but I ended up like not doing it. But I need to do something like this next year. Put a huge like fucking dirtbag flag so you can literally see them from all over the place. But that was one of the dudes there, and then obviously the Texas flag. Those guys were awesome. They were handing out fireball shots. All right, back to the game. This is towards the end of the thing. So right here is where I fucked up. Gaz was on 4 things, and I could have shot him with my 2 dreads. Instead, I was like, oh, I'll just charge him and kill him mortal wounds. Well, I charged him, only did 2 wounds to him. I made both of his 4-up saves and do any mortal wounds. So literally, Gaz just nerfed those guys, killed them off the table, even though I should have just shot him dead instead of trying to charge and kill him. I wanted to charge, kill him, get on the point, and steal the objective, but instead I was greedy and I didn't do that. Rhino is doing his job. He's blocking the zone from over here, so I give him a little launching point, but again, he can't get past that point. So his units, I kind of messed up. I had 10 interceptors in here, so he could have like tried to surround it, and would have had me to cast or spend a CP to get out for desperate, whatever, which I don't think I had a CP, so I would have just died. But he made his charge back here. These guys ran around here, made that charge. All these guys are kind of chilling right here. Everything else is kind of slowly scooching up. I'm staying as far back as I possibly can. This is what I was talking about. So I put these guys on the other side of the wall, thinking that you can't charge through the wall and end on there because it's unlandable, whatever the word is. But halfway through the game, he did the charge, and I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, this is whatever." I was like, "Wait, I thought we talked about where you can't." And again, that's kind of where I fucked up. So he made all his charges through this wall, was able to end in the ruins. Which again, if we were playing the way that I thought, he couldn't get as many people in because of how far the 5-inch distance was. So that's kind of where I was like, well, this sucks. So end of the game, he didn't have any really kill rigs left. Gaz was dead. Truck was dead. A lot of shit was dead just from my counterattack after his wall. All the bolts was just killing all of the dudes. This was the end of the game score. So we wound up getting 14 for Purify, 15 for Banners, 13 for Kill Shit, leaving us with 97. We got 45. And then he had 38 for Primary, 13 for Good Bits, 6 for the biggest because Gaz died on turn bottom of 3, I believe. And Green Tide, he got 11. So again, even how much shit that died, Orcs are still very good with secondaries. And he got up to 76. So that was the first game of LVO, which was stressful because it was like I was so close to losing. If he would have just done some little things differently, surrounding tanks on your wall is definitely huge for Orcs. But next game, this I think was the end of the game. So we got Drago up here, all the dreads moving up, leaving the objectives. I think I had banner. I put a banner down here. Purified down here, and then he had these guys kind of left on his backfield. Draco's running up the center. This Libby ran up and killed like 5 knobs with the psychic test. So he did good bits, and if those guys live, he would have got good bits one more time, but I killed him with psychic and then shot him. So yeah, that was just mean on my part. I apologize. All right, next game. Really, really good Blood Angels player. So if I didn't play Zach enough in our local meta, I would not really know what Blood Angels does. Everybody runs similar lists. This is the first time I saw the Whirlwind in the Blood Angels list because Zach doesn't really run the Whirlwinds, but this was the setup. This is different terrain features. Whoever gets first, if there's a terrain feature in the center, you can choose to have you or them move it, and then the other person places first. So I think I chose to move it because I wanted to have this one, and this one be open. So if I can at least, this is the bomb one, really good bomb mission. So if I can move this closer towards his thing and leave this open, at least I have firing lanes going this way and then a fire lane going this way. So that's why I chose to move this that way instead of this way. So when I did that, I put a little crate here so I can stick my guys right behind it and put a banner up and keep purifying, and then put everything else back here. I put a unit of strikes down here, and a unit of interceptors. So he wound up going second. We lucked out. We got first turn on this because if he went first, he would have just put all of his guys just fucking thrown at me into the buildings. With Blood Angels, guys, if they have the Death Company, which most of the time they will, they charge you 12, 24, and then 36, and then they get +1 to charge, so 37 inches. So if you can stay 37 inches away on turn 1, which I think I most likely was in this deployment, I've redeployed 3. So I was able to redeploy this guy and then these 2 units if I didn't go first. But since I went first, I didn't have to redeploy them. I basically redeployed more aggressive instead of more defensive. So I deploy aggressively. If I don't go first, I take them back defensively. But if I do go first, I can then put up more units more aggressively to kind of get in the areas that I really want to get to. So that's why foretelling of Locust is almost needed, guaranteed every single time. So he's got a unit of snipers, and then all these guys kind of in the back here. So we went first, and I was like, all right, I'm going to put down a bomb as soon as possible because playing Kieval, trying to get the bombs away are just almost impossible, honestly. So I was like, all right, how many bombs can I place this game? So these strikes started here. They moved up 6, put a bomb down here. These guys hopped up, and I think I had like a 6 or 7 inch charge to these guys turn 1. If I can clear off this objective, and plant a bomb in 1 turn, that is a good turn 1 start. So let's go into this turn. He had a unit of melted dudes, plasma interceptors, and I had a really, really good turn 2. So my turn 1, I basically charged up, killed his dudes, killed the other sniper dudes, planted a bomb all the way down here. Next turn, the strikes moved up to trying to get a charge on these sanguinary that killed the guys that killed them. And I deep struck my other guys down here and put another bomb down. So basically I was just putting bombs left and right with my strike squads, which is perfect for this map. These guys are kind of getting launched out by the Rhino on the other side of this wall, which they're doing their job. I'm blocking out the backfield. I did let a little unit right here deep strike in my backfield, which I just did. I couldn't get that little circle gone. I kind of measured wrong, and he was able to get a guys down here and charge. But at that point, it kind of was over because I was able to kill essentially 2 units of Sanguinary Guard, and I did this. He moved up his lane, his whirlwind. I was like, fuck, did he just give me his backfield? And he did. After he moved it and started shooting, he's like, fuck, I literally have nothing in my backfield. I was like, yeah, you don't. So we dropped down 3 paladins with the librarian. I chose to, instead of going for the Rhino, I went for the unit of a Sanguinary Guard that were hiding back here for the next wave. So he had the priest, Dante, the banner guy, and the unit of Sanguinary Guard, which they came down, smited, Purify Flame, Vortex of Doom, another smite, and just fucking nuked down the Sanguinary Guard. So I traded 135 points plus the 110 points for the Libby. So 235 points for basically 260 points of Sanguinary Guard. Definitely good trade. Got me just clearing off the Sanguinary Guard as soon as possible, especially with mortal wounds. Is what I learned how you have to defeat Blood Angels. You can't really kill them as easy in combat. You have to kill them with shooting and psychic powers. And then if you get the charge, you can't do 2 charges because they'll just interrupt. But if you get at least 1 charge a turn to do an even trade, that's kind of like the best way to kill the Blood Angels players. These guys came down, shot twice into my Dread Knight. He failed, I think, 3 or 4 of the wounds, and I made 3 or 4 of the saves. So he did, I think, 4 Melta shots, which I felt bad because this guy should definitely be dead. And then his plasma shot the back guy, which I think if you just put all of them into the front guy and killed the one guy, that would have been a good trade. These guys came up and charged my servitors, but I still had this on the objective, but he had 2, so he basically took down my banner. And I was just, again, launching guys in the center, doing Purify Ritual, and then these guys are getting launched down here to kind of trade with the Sanguinary guy back here. So this Blood Angel player was a very good player, knew exactly what he was doing, except he just wasn't, he was caught off guard by how fast the Grey Knights essentially are, just gating people around, shunting, Libby dropping in the backfield, mortal wound bombing, literally everything. And I was able to trade very, very well. So he was impressed with how well Grey Knights can trade if you can kill Sanguinary Guard as soon as possible. Death Company moved up, killed my Interceptor squad, or I had Sanctuary on them. So how you try and deal with the squad is they hop out here, right? And they charge my unit that charged the snipers ahead of time. You put Sanctuary on them, and then you use 2 CP to only wound on 4s. So they potentially lose half their wounds to that unit, and you have a 4-up invuln save. So you can potentially save 2 to 3 guys and then slap back to kill some of them. So that way next turn you can either fall back, shoot and charge, fall back, go do something else, fall back and just run away. But that's kind of one way to survive the onslaught of that squad. Charging out, I think he had 3 hammers, so it's like 15 hammer attacks, hitting on 3s, I think, rerolls, whatever, and then wounding on 2s. But with Transhuman, which is our 2 CP, which is bullshit, they're able to survive sometimes. It's a good 2 CP if you really want to keep the center objective and get some attacks back on that. So final score 99-25. Again, I felt bad just because I bought him a beer. So after the game, we ended pretty early. We talked it out, and I was like, all right, let's go buy some beers. So I went out, bought him a beer, and then talked about like where we're from, how I play Blood Angels all the time. Like we have a really good guy in our meta, so I wouldn't have known that if yada yada. So cool guy. Kept him to 4-4-4, and then I think he got 12 for the primary, 10 for Arbor the Witch, 3 for banners, 0 for assault, and then we got 99 because we got everything but I think banners. He took me down 1 banner for the 1 turn. So this was just a random picture of how many fucking people there are lined up. Like it is insane. There's our boy Keeble right there playing another Blood Angels player. He did not start 37 inches away from the Blood Angels player, and the Blood Angels player went first, and no more Terminators. So that was fun. So let's go into the next one. This was one of the stores. They had these huge like models just set up so you can play like a bigger version of a small game of 40K. And this was our last game of the day. So we went 2-0 going into the last game. We're playing one of the top 4 or 5 Tyranid players in the world, so I knew this was going to be a tough matchup. If I didn't play John, who's our local call-up buddy, who plays all the top armies, but Tyranids is like his bread and butter. If I didn't play John enough with Tyranids, I would never have known what this is, and this was kind of similar to what Innis was running when we beat Innis the last GT. So I kind of, again, knew what to fear, what to stay away from. He wasn't running Kraken. I think he was running Behemoth, or one that gives you +1 to charges, +1 to advance, reroll something. So first time I saw this egg thing, vagina, he called it. So first time I saw that, it makes like things within 18 inches of it or something, so they just kept making spore mines. He had the Mr. Krabs for the dude, which I knew just fucks up Grey Knights so much. But this is the deployment, 6 objectives. I believe this is sticky objectives. I'm not sure, but we took banners, Purify Ritual, and kill shit. Same thing as we usually take. So yeah, this was our setup. We went first. No, he went first. So he basically moved up, put banners down, stayed outside of my charges. I redeployed back just so I couldn't get, charge and all that stuff. He keeps putting the Biovores here. And then he has 3 of the Biovore shooting guys in the back here. We have bolters to deal with him. Guys, if you see spore mines, you're not going to see them anymore. But if you saw spore mines, you got to shoot them with the bolters as much as possible. So he ran up something, I think warriors or something, ran up to here, which we were able to get a charge off, kill them, clear off the objective, and kind of put sanctuary on them, so they're just kind of chilling on this objective. We got guys in the back here, I think a strike squad, and then we have 2 squads over there, and then all these guys back here. These guys hopped out to shoot the spore mines that were laid the turn prior. We took it down to 1, and then he kind of just like kept up banners and these guys around here. He had Raveners in deep strike. He had a unit of Ravagers, which I think we shot down turn 1. Yeah, and he has a unit of Warriors back there. So his turn came down. Raveners made their charge. So this is an example of me not taking, because I was so focused. This guy was really good. So this is me not taking as many pictures as I usually do, so I apologize. But he had Raveners come down, make their charge. I think it was like a 9-inch charge rerollable. So he needs an 8 from deep strike. So he made his charge into my my dude, which it was right here, right where my mouse is. He deep struck right here, made his charge, killed my Dread Knight. I then came back and killed them, and his Lictor came down to try and charge my dudes over here, which he failed. I think he rerolled it and he failed again. So he's got a Lictor right here, which I think these guys wound up charging and killing it to get on the point. And then he has Raveners down here, which deep struck, charge, killed my Dread Knight, and then if he can kill my Dread Knights, and now I'm losing my long range battle. Very good on his part. And then he deep struck his wing dude that makes D3 Rippers, which helps with killing shit, which is no prisoners. But his Ripper dude came down for behind enemy lines, which he took. So his Ripper dude came down, and then he made 2 Rippers to get behind enemy lines, which got him 4 points. So that was such a good strategy. If you guys haven't seen that, the guy comes down, makes Rippers for behind enemy lines, and gets 4 points for 1 turn. So that was clutch. Let's go into basically the end of the game. By the end of the game, we have his Hive Tyrant that charged up, killed my guys, and he had to spend 1 CP to get into my deployment zone, so that way he can get behind enemy lines again. At this point, the game was really close, and we're just trying to add up points to see how much he can possibly get, as well as I can possibly get. And after adding it up, I gave him as much as I possibly could, and I believe we were still up. It was kind of the same way we counted up for Innis's game, where if he really couldn't come back with the max points, there really was no point to continuing. So we got to the final turn, and I was like, all right, what can we kill? What can you kill? And we talked it out. I got his banner down finally, because he took down one of my banners. So I took down his banner. I didn't charge these guys because I don't think I could have killed all of them with these guys as attacks. So we kind of shot some of them. They fled, and we stayed on this objective. And then we took our objectives back. We put banners back up. His Hive Tyrant went back over here, like I said. So we ran up our Librarian. Let me see if you guys, yeah. So we ran up our Librarian. Drago put an Empiric Amplification up, smite, all that stuff. And I was going to charge it, but we killed it with shooting, because I don't want to get into combat because it has fight on death. But we killed it with psychic powers and shooting to finally take it out. He had a unit of Hive Guard make their charge in. They were kind of chilling over here. He had his warriors that were dead over there. And then all he had left were these psychic dudes, the psychic character, Biovores, this pooping thing out in the back, and a unit of Termagants. So his turn, he moved up his dude, the Spore Mines, and they just did 13 mortal wounds to this thing. But I still had my Rhino on the objective. And then these guys couldn't really do anything. So end of the game, he couldn't get behind enemy lines anymore. He couldn't get anything else. So we finished up with, I believe, he had 72 points. I had 43 for primary, 13 for banners, 15 for purify, and 15 for no prisoners. So we wound up with 90. I lost 2, 3, 4 points, so 96. So 96 to 72 me on this game. So we did it. We went 3-0 first day of LVO against number 4 Tyranids player. Really cool Orc player, game 1, and a very well-known Blood Angels player who just knew all the rules. He just wasn't sure about Grey Knight. So that's kind of how I run this game. Next 3 games, guys. super different, insane. So let's get into day 3. Not day 3, day 2. Game 4. All right, here's another Orcs player. He also went 3-0 the first day. He said his opponents weren't as, I guess, competitive as everybody else's, but this guy in the meta, he was super chill. He knows his Orcs very, very well, and he plays another Grey Knight dude in his meta, so he kind of knew what Grey Knights did. He knew how to play his Orcs, and again, I thought, I even texted, I was like, I think I just lost this game. It was only like turn 2. So this game was super close, and he basically ran the normal Orc list, just like you see. So 2 kill rigs, the truck, this dude stole a whatever the stole Custodes bike and turned it into an Orc bike, which is insane. We got Gaz, a bunch of dudes. I think honestly the only way I won this game was because it was this mission that you can't start on the center objectives. So he didn't have his 3 pregame advanced people put basically good bits on everything. So I think I had a huge advantage with this mission going into Orcs. I had no idea what the hell I was going to do against it if he was able to just put 3 units of guys on the center objectives and kind of already start getting points. So I did have a really cool pro play in this, which I'll let you guys know once it happens, but this was the deployment. So I got to put terrain down first. I put this little thing right here in the center, then put this thing over here. We had a little building in the back left corner here, and then a forest to try and, again, do the same things last time, slow them down a little bit in the center. So we had 1 lane here, 1 lane here, and that was his deployment over there. So I kind of castled up. I tried to stay pretty far away from his wall, turn 1, and we got to go first. So if he went first, again, it might have been a little bit better, but I got to go first. I basically moved everybody up on the objectives to put down, I forget which ones we took. All right, so we took Purify, Assassinate, Kill Shit. I'd never thought to take Assassinate with Orcs just because these guys are characters. So if you have the guns to kill them, you probably just take Assassinate, so that we get 3, 6. His Kamikaze bike guy would be 9. And then Weird Boy, if you can get to him, that's 12. And then Gaz, obviously, it would be 15, 16. But he played it very well. He put Gaz over here because that's like an automatically 10 points. I know that secondary is going away, but that was such an easy way to get 10 points from Gaz just by camping the objective. But yeah, so this was his turn 1. He basically charged me with his wah after I moved up and did Purify Ritual. I did such a cool thing. I basically hopped out my guys onto this thing, and I turn 1, I believe I got 1 Purifying Ritual off. So he blocked 3 of my Purifying Rituals, which was insane. I then casted Gate on that unit. So basically they hop up, do Purify Ritual, and then you can gate them away. So I gated them away over to here, to try and get shots off over to here to try and shots off on one of these 2 units. And I think I only wounded like 2 of them, and he failed once, which I think he just put the wound on the knob. So not a ton of shooting. I killed one of these guys turn 1. I put some bolters into like this unit, and that was really it for my turn. Then he was, and basically gets both of his kill rigs, 1 kill rig into here, 1 kill rig into here, filled with boys. He kamikaze charged his bike leader all the way across the board into my Dread Knight down here. And then all these like beast guys ran up and charged the guys over here. So he had a lot of charges turn 1. He killed a lot of shit turn 1. And he killed my Dread Knight. So I was able to interrupt with my Dread Knight and kill his bike lord. And then he fought on death. So he killed my Dread, I killed his bike lord. So I was going for Assassinate, so it wasn't as even of a trade, but I still got Assassinate points and took out his bike lord. If he would have went first with his bike lord and took out my Dread Knight, bike lord would still be alive. He probably would have died anyway next turn, but I would have to figure out how to fucking do that. Instead, he went with the Beast Boys on the other side of the table because if I interrupted with the other guys, he thought that the Beast Boys would die easier. So he knew that the other guy had fight on death. So he's like, all right, I'll take fight on death. and then I'll kill you guys as well. So he killed my guys, and then he fought on death after killing my my thing. So to him, it was an even trade. To me, I kind of lost the trade because I lost my shooting, but at least I tried to kill him. Here's the pro play, right? So my Rhino ran up to this objective because he had gas on the objective. Nothing else was on it. So basically, I stopped 4 points from him, and gas can't. He has to run all the way around the building to try and get to this Rhino. So Rhino ran up, matched his 1-to-1, and I stopped 4 points with a fucking Rhino. So that was clutch. I had to deep strike my librarian with the pallies in my backfield, so that way I can be even 9-9 from these two things, and I can choose which one I want to mortal wound bomb. We wound up going with the left side. We killed the left side. Guys got out. And then this guy deep struck as well, the strikes. They then all just shot and murdered with bolters the rest of the guys inside the squad here. We then tried to surround this, and I charged my Dread Knight with the hammer into it and whiffed. Like, I think I only hit once and didn't even wound it. Drago had Impaired Amplification up on this thing, so I thought I was going to kill it like pretty easily, doing 4 damage with Drago. Drago then whiffed as well, and I think I only wounded it once, so I took it down to 9 wounds. Everything else whiffed, but he was telling me if you blew it up, he would have just got on the objective with OPSEC units and stole the objective in the center. So luckily, I kind of didn't blow it up, so that way I was still able to hold the center objective, because if he would have got that, he would have had 8 points instead of 4 points. So we finished off these guys, finished off the one thing with the guys inside, and what else? And these commandos, I whiffed over here. So whiffed a lot on my turn. The dice was not going good for me. They charged, and I think only killed 1 knob with rerolls 1s to hit and wound from the prescient ability. I had 3 guys left over here into these guys, and yeah, that was my turn. So his turn. Weird boy. Consolidate to try and block this off, but he still had the 2 guys live on this objective with the weird boy. He rolled a ton of exploding 6s, which I forgot or didn't know that boys have. And this is towards the end of the game. So we finished off both kill rigs. Gaz failed his 9-inch charge around the building to get to the Rhino. And this is also what happened. So the Rhino charged the dudes on the other side of the wall because they're within 1 inch of the engagement range. So I was able to charge the Gretchen. He failed his... I think I rolled 2 6s and killed 2 Gretchen, and then he failed his morale, killed 2 more Gretchen from a Rhino, and then he wasn't able to do good bits the rest of the game because you can't be in combat and do an action. So that was also the pro play. So the Rhino guys did so much work on the left side of the table by not getting charged by gas. His guys, his Terminator dudes also failed to charge, so he failed his 9-inch charge, and then I think he failed 2 7-inch charges to try and kill the Rhino the turn prior with his Terminator. So I lucked out there. So I rolled shit, he rolled shit, so it was even. And then at the end of the game, Libby starting to run away from Gaz, because if Gaz kills the Libby, it's 5 points. But he's not on this objective anymore, so he's not getting Gaz's secondary. Libby is then running the opposite way of Gaz to try and do mortal wounds to more shit over here. These guys are just holding back the objective. These guys are over here. I'm trying to heal the fucking dude over here with my Tech Priest, casting Purify Ritual, and over here casting Purify Ritual. So he did not have a lot of Purifying Rituals this game, but we're trying to close in and consolidate on the objective to steal the objective and block his kill rig in. So I think I make the charge, consolidate on the objective to stop him from getting points on his home objective. And then he just kind of finishes off with his kill rig, because kill rig's whack in combat. So final match, final game, points. We had primary 45, so we got 4 8 12 8, which was awesome. I stopped his primary, like that was huge, me stopping the primary. I think without stopping the primary, it was such a different game. 4 because again the Rhino, 4 because the consolidate onto his home objective, and then 8, and then I believe he got 4 the last turn. Then 3 2 21, he got 8 for stomping good. because again, we got him off the objective, and then we wound up just not giving him anything else. Oh, sorry, that was like grind. So he got 4 and 4. He only did it twice. Good bits, again, I stopped his good bits because I charged his dudes with my rhino. And then biggest, he killed the rhino, so we got 5 points, and then 2 and 2. So we went up with 51 to 94. So after game 4, again, we're going into game 5, 4-0. So at this point, we're going to start seeing really, really top players. So the next game, we get this guy. So we made it to the top table. We're playing next to Steven, who we just kind of shooting the shit, talking about the day, 2 days prior when we all hung out for Vanguard Tactics. He ran Eldar, but we're not playing him, so it doesn't matter. We played the number 1 Necrons player in the world. So this guy was legit, knew everything, super put together, very good, competitive player, knew Grey Knights, and basically just knew what to do because it's Necron. So anytime you play Necrons against Grey Knights, they're going to max out almost everything. And we just happened to play the number 1 Necron player in the world. So it was really cool. He didn't know, nobody really knew that I was ranked. I don't like to tell people, like, you know, before the game, like, hey, you're ranked, I'm ranked, let's, you know, whatever. But at the end of the game, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm ranked, you know, 4th or whatever, and I'm trying to get to the top. And he's like, oh dude, that's fucking awesome. Like I didn't know you were there. I was like, yeah, what are you? He's like, oh, I'm 1. I was like, oh shit, that's fucking awesome. So at least I lost to the number 1 Necron player. Like it wasn't, you know, it was the best of the best. So it was cool. He also makes this widget. So shout out to this guy who makes widgets. Right here, it's a 9-inch widget. We're also making widgets, so we're going to be competing now, right? But it's a 9-inch with a 6-inch, 4-inch, 3-inch, 2-inch on Etsy. So yeah, he has the same thing that we're making. So it was really cool. I was like, yo, I'm making that too. Normal Necrons list. He's got the Silent King. He's got these dudes, which I think are really underrated. Unit of 10 of these guys. He had 2 Scarab units. 3 units of the Scorpec, the Stalker dudes. He had a bunch of these solo guys. He had this guy, which can buff up units. He had a unit of the destroyers with 1 heavy destroyer, then 3 heavy destroyers in the back. And what else did he have? I believe that was it. So it was a very, very well thought out, put together list. He had the Veilbreaker guy as well. So Veilbreaker dude. So he went turn 1, which again, if your Necrons go in turn 1, everything's OBSEC, you're going to have a good time. Goes turn 1, he runs his guys onto the objective, which he spends a CP to reroll. So he needed like a 3, he rolled a 2. So he rerolled, got a 3, got on the objective. Scarab dudes over here did the action on the objective over here. And then I think he put a unit of guys in the center over here, which I completely forgot that they have -1 damage strat. Or -1 to wound. I forget, it's -1 to wound and -1 damage, but it's such a good 1 CP strat. He also has a 1 CP strat that ignores your cover. So there's no point to starting in Tides of Cover or Tides of Shadows. He's just going to ignore it. So I set up, I took Engage, guys, for this one, because it's the objective where you start over here, start over there. I put all this out to try and block line of sight from most of the stuff. So I don't think throughout the weekend I ever set up terrain badly. Honestly, it was my 2nd time in a tournament playing player placed. So I think I actually did, which I might make a video on player placed terrain for everybody who plays it normally. But I think, honestly, every game I set up the terrain pretty well. I'm going to say there wasn't one game where like, oh, fuck, I shouldn't have put that there, or I should have put that over here, or I really fucked up. So I was happy how the terrain was placed every time. So we deployed a unit of interceptors in the back corner here behind a crate. We deployed a unit of interceptors back here behind a crate, so we couldn't really get a lot of line of sight shooting on anybody. And then we redeployed these strikes back. So I kept these guys out of charge range, and then we redeployed these strikes back. And I believe I redeployed these guys off the table into reserves as well. I left these guys on the table because I didn't think he would get line of sight on them, but he Veilbreaker plate these guys, turn 1 already here. And just shot the shit out of them. Spent 1 CP, took cover away, so I didn't get cover from the crates, and he just unloaded everything to take off the Interceptor squad turn 1. So, my turn 1, I was able to get Drago to Empiric Amplify his unit over here. So so that way I can shoot and do whatever. I think my turn 2 is when I really like came down and tried to come back. But he had the board control like really well. So I kept my Dread Knight over here. I gated my other Dread Knight in this back corner to try and shoot the heavy dudes back here. I think we took one down to 1 wound. Didn't roll 2 out. This guy came back and shot the dude. I think I made 3 out of 3 saves, 4 up invulns, for him not to take a ton of damage. And then I was able to move up and kind of charge his dudes down here. These guys came out from Deep Strike to try and get engage. So I had this guy over there for engage. I had these guys up for engage. I had these guys Deep Strike in the top corner because he had his unit of shooting guys back here. So we kind of nuked down his shooting guys with the mortal wounds, and then we shot the character with the bolters, and the Dread Knight that was over here in the left corner shot and finished off them with Empiric Amplification. Where I also fucked up was the turn prior. I was like, all right, I can consolidate and tag him up in combat because then he can fall back and gets -1 to shoot because of falling back. But instead, I combi charged both of them. So he had the scarab units on the objective here and then the big unit back here. I was like, all right, combi charge. And he's like, all right, Overwatch. I was like, fuck. So Overwatch kills 3 of my 5 guys that hopped out from the Rhino. And I think I failed my charge with a reroll. So I think I needed like an 8 or something. Failed it, rerolled it, failed it again. So basically he still had this objective. His guys were still out of combat. I should have fucking just charged his scarabs, killed his scarabs, took over the objective, stopped him from getting 12. He might have still had 12. I don't know if he had the center. He might have had the center. So he might have still had 12. So whatever. He still would have had 12. Fuck it. I should at least kill the scarabs, taken the scarabs off the objective, and then consolidated into his unit. So that way he had to fall back and shoot with them instead of just shooting like normal and, you know, doing whatever. So he shot into my my paladin squad. And I think killed all but one. Libby lived. And then again, go around, nuked him off the table and finished it that way. So after this turn, he kept charging his dudes and running them away. So if his guys got down to like 1 or 2 guys, he would run them away and create more. So he kept like recycling and making more dudes, which was super smart. He didn't just throw them away again so they all died. He basically ran them away and then made a dude next turn to get further charge distances and keep his units almost full. So these guys are trying to run to the objective. And my other guys trying to run to the objective. I gated the Libby up to the 2nd floor to do a bunch of mortal wounds to this squad in the center. The strikes got out, full rerolls and hammerhand on the strike squads so they can try and clear off this objective. And these guys moved up from being in deep strike and got the charge on these guys. So we ran the Rhino up for engage. So the Rhino's on his side for engage. My Dread Knight died to shooting from the Silent King. I didn't make my save this time. This other Dread Knight is still good over here. Kind of gets shots off in the center. I did cast Empiric Amplification, got that off. So we did a bunch of damage to these guys. And final go around. So this was the final thing. He had 96 points. I had 78 points. So I happened to squeak out 78 points from the #1 player in the world with Necrons. So this was the scorecard, guys. He got turn 1, 2 for the tertiary, 4, 4, 5. Because he went first. Then turn 2, he got 12, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then next turn he got 12, 2, 2, 4, 3. So it was bad. His primary game was on point. We got 4, 4, 8, 12. So we still got 28, and then we got 2, 2, 2 for the tertiary, so we got up to 34. Purify only got 1, 1, 0, 2, 4. So my Purify was only 8. I didn't take banners. I took kill shit instead and engage. So instead of banners, I took engage, which banners would have just been fucking terrible. So I was like, what's another secondary that I can get that I don't really have to do anything? I just have to be in the quarter. So we took Engage, which I think was the first time I took Engage in a long time, and it actually did pretty well for us. We got 2, 2, 2, 3, 3. I think we got 12. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, so we got 12 for Engage. Because I was able to kind of get in his backcourt towards the end of the game because there wasn't a lot of shit left. At the end of the game, he had Silent King, this dude, a unit of the Heavy Destroyers, and I think like 1 or 2 of these guys left. So he didn't have a ton, like all these guys were dead. He didn't have a ton left. I still had guys like hopping around all over. So that's why at the end of the game, we were still able to get 12 on the last turn, and 3 for Engage the last 2 turns. So we squeaked out 78 points. So I was happy. 78 points to 96 points. So first loss of the tournament. So we were going into the final game 4-1. So now the goal is to get as many points as possible, to try and place as high as possible, to try and get as many points for the ITC rankings. So of course, the last game we played the number 2 Demons player in the world, Team Poland, I believe. Super friendly dude. Good friends with Innes. Very, very competitive tournament player. His list was amazing. I'll go over his list in a second. But Demons, I don't really have an issue with Demons, but this number 2 player in the world, I did have an issue with. So I think I should have lost if it went one way or another, but we'll get into the game. All right, so his list, if I can try to remember, we're about a week and a half after LVO. But he ran 3 units of these Fiends, Beast guys, all Slaanesh. He ran the Harp chick. She is deadly, insane. He ran 6 or 7 units of Demonettes. Shit. Yeah, so this was super close game. But he ran 6 or 7 units of the Demonettes that basically all deep struck. The terrain setup was long ways. He set up this terrain, I set up this terrain. Demonettes, turn 1, he had, I think I had turn 1. I had a really good turn 1. I set up pretty aggressively, and I was able to get my guys out of the Rhino and charge. No, I gated. So I gated my guys in the backfield and try to shoot the Demonettes that were on the other side of here. And the Bolters and Demonettes did pretty well. We took all of them down besides 1. I had my 2 Dread Knights shoot really far. One got line of sight to the Demonettes over here. The other got line of sight to the Demonettes on this side. So we were shooting on both sides into the Demonettes, like kind of like a triangle. And then the other guys got gated in the back corner. He had a unit of Flamers. So the Dread Knight shot the Flamers, turn 1, 30 inches. He only had a unit of 3 Flamers. The other guys gated and shot Bolters into the Demonettes. And then we put Cycan Silencer from this Dread Knight into the other side of Demonettes on this side. So we took the one Demonette down to 1 unit. He had a character right next to there, like another Demonette character. He had a Demon Prince Slaanesh, and then he had the Chariot. And I think that was all of his guys. Just for, so if you guys want to copy list, very, very good scary list. His turn, he walked up, the solo dude or chick, and did the action on this objective, and then he did the action on this objective, and then he kind of like ran everything behind this wall. So he was setting up for the next turn to do a really, really big push. The other Demonettes deep struck, they kind of came back and killed these guys. One Flamer hopped back and killed these guys as well. So he was able to move his Demonettes up and kind of charge and finish off those guys. So then my turn, we had the Rhino on the other side of here. They hopped out. So I hopped out, shot and bolted and killed the dudes over here. We deep struck the strikes down here. So we basically were able to just get a ton of bolter shots onto the character and the solo demon. So we stopped his action from going off on this objective, and we took this objective back over. So we were only able to give him, I believe, 4 points for holding that objective in the top. So that was a really good. My turn 1, I think I did Purify, which we hopped out to the center. We purified and then we gated them from the center all the way to the backfield, like I told you, to get some bolters off. And then we did banners. So we put 2 banners up on the back here. We did Purify for 4 on turn 1, which was really good. His turn then, if you could see, literally everything just ran forward. So all these guys ran forward. All these guys ran forward. The harp chick rolled a 1 for the advance. He then re-rolled it and rolled another 1. So not knowing that his demonettes can deep strike wholly within 6 inches of this harp chick and then still kind of charge is very, very scary. So if he would have got like a 5 or a 6, he would have been up to here. And then his demonettes would have been up to here, making like 3 or 4 inch charges on my entire backfield. So on the other side here, I had a unit of Interceptors, Strikes, Drago, Paladins, Tech Priest, Dread Knight, and I put these guys out the screen so he couldn't get a charge off of my Dread Knight. But very scary. So his 2 Demonette squads came down, 1 right here and 1 right here. He charged his 1 Beast unit into the ruins. He then charged the 2 Demonettes into both squads over here. And then the other ones charged into this ruin and killed the guys off the center objective. And then he had Demonettes Deep Strike back here. So I think he had like a unit or 2 Deep Strike back here to take care of the backfield. And then he was kind of clearing my whole top flank. My turn, he then spent a CP to do -2 psychic powers. Anything within 12 inches, which is insane. So basically his 1 beast is right here. So everything back here is -2 to cast. I need a 9 to get Empiric Amplification off on that unit. I roll a 9. So I get it off. I'm like, holy shit, can't believe that happened. So I put Empiric Amplification on the big unit. All the bolters from everything over here took down the demonettes pretty easily. We then charged the Dread Knight, Drago, and the Interceptors that were left into that demon squad with Empiric Amplification up. All right, so everything getting in combat with the beasts, we were able to literally just wipe out the beasts with Empiric Amplification. The Dread Knight in the bottom here shot and charged these guys, which then finished off these guys with the hammer. I think we had an Interceptor squad as well charged this guy. So at the end of this turn, guys, he lost, I think, 20 to 30 demonettes. He then lost 2 full units of Slanesh beasts. And to top it off, he left the backfield open. So this chariot was up here, finishing off these guys. The flamer was up here. Everything was up here. Only the demon prince right here was right here. And there was nothing back here. So I deep struck alone my Libby right behind this little wall just to get line of sight onto his demon prince. So I didn't see anything else, just the demon prince. So then we just blow all of our CP and just nuke the demon prince down to 2 wounds. So then my Interceptors that were, I think they were behind, they were in the thing. So they hopped out. And they charged to finish off the Demon Prince. So he lost the Demon Prince. He lost 2 full units of beasts. He lost 20 to 30 demonettes, and his harp chick. Because the guys that were in combat over here, I think there was 3 of them from the turn prior, they just hopped over the beasts. There was a charge lane to this harp chick, so they charged the harp chick, and we killed the harp chick. So he lost literally all of that in 1 turn. Whew. So after that, he was tired. It was the last game of the tournament. He's like, honestly, bro, I was like, you just want to talk it out? He's like, yeah, you got this. I was like, yeah, I think I do too, but it was brutal. Like I felt bad because he rolled like a 1. Like if he would have rolled anything higher, like a 3 or 4 for the charge with the harp chick, demonettes would have been flooded the zone even more. He would have killed more shit. I think I played really well. I think I played to the primary, to the secondary, stopping his secondary points, stopping his primary points. So it wasn't just me just being here. I literally was playing to stop him from getting points. And Grey Knights versus Demons, if you just kill demons, you get points anyway. So that was good. So we kept fighting over this bottom objective. Center objective, we kept going back and forth. And then he wasn't able to basically clear me off I think cleared me off once from this objective when he charged in with all of his OPSEC shit. But after that, we just killed everything, moved back up, and took over everything. So at the end of the game, he had 1 unit of beast left. He had, I think, a character, maybe 1 character, and some demonettes in the back left corner. And that was it. So end of the game, we finished off with 100, and he finished off with 18 for the primary. We kept him at 4-4-4, and then 3-3. So we had 18 for the primary. He had 6 for no prisoners. He had 9 for reality rebels, and then 12 for despoiled stuff. So he despoiled the objective 4 times, I believe. So we get 100 on our last match against the number 2 Demons player in the world. So that was such a cool way to end LVO. At the end of it, it really was just like chilling. We got our award at the award ceremony on the next day. We played it was that day, but there was an RTT the next day, which we were kind of just fucking around and playing. I played another Death Guard player. He ran the Ferryman build, which is not good into or it's amazing into melee armies, which Grey Knights are trading armies. So that was bad for us. But we got this, and I thought this was just because we placed top in LVO for Grey Knights, but this was at the actual reward after they did the numbers for ITC. So it was cool because they already had the numbers ran ready to go, and found out that I was the number 1 Grey Knight player for 2022 in the world. Like, that was so cool. And I didn't think, I literally thought it was just the rankings. I didn't find out I was number 1 until a week later when they actually posted on ITC rankings, which then I literally just copied, shared it with all my dirtbags. Dirtbag Nation was super fucking pumped. I was pumped. My girlfriend or fiance was like, yay, cool. And then my family was like, dude, that's incredible. I was like, yeah, it actually is, worth it doing this shit. So that way we can grow. So end of the series, we finished 20th out of 1,000 people at LVO. We went 5-1. Our boy Quinn was like 2 below us. He had 564 points. I had 565. This other Grey Knights player, again, lost the first one, won the last 5. He had 582. His list was weird. It was different. I'd love to talk about his list if I can ever get him on the channel. And then we had Chaos, Blood Angels, Emperor's Children, Thousand Sons, TJ. He went 6-0 and then lost in the shadow round. Brutal. It was awesome. So it was awesome time. Bunch of other people. So out of the top people, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We were the 5th of the players that went 5-1, and 1 player went 5.5, 5.5 wins. So I think we did pretty good, guys. So Dirtbag Nation definitely stepped up and represented at the LVO this year, which was super fucking awesome. Okay, and that was LVO. So my last impressions, will end it after this. We're going to talk about kind of what's coming up on the channel, what's coming up with the Dirtbag Nation, what videos we got coming up, Patreon, all that fun stuff. So what I took away from LVO really was Grey Knights are going to be in a very, very good spot with a lot of Grey Knight players placing really high. Even in top 25, top 30, top 50 out of 1,000 people was really cool to see. With us just getting a huge boost with Armor of Contempt going away. Don't let other people tell you that it's a nerf to Grey Knights, because really it's not, unless you're running like 10 Paladins and we're really relying on like them just not dying. I think Paladins are a little bit on the back burner right now. But with Orcs of Omen coming up, Teleport Assault getting amazing. Purify Ritual, if you're building towards it, you want to be able to at least do it on 2 to 3 objectives every single turn. That's an easy 10 points. And then Chaos Demons, they're going to be run a lot. We have a secondary specifically made for them, but really it's just going to come down to Teleport Assault and what other secondaries you want to build your list around. I'm actually going to be making a secondary guide for Grey Knights. We're going to do a secondary guide for Death Guard as well. Those are my mainly 2 armies that I know on the back of my hand. The other 2 armies we're going to be spending a lot of time in Arcs of Omen. We are going to be running a lot of lists for Grey Knights as well as the other ones, testing out different Arcs of Omen builds. If you guys are on the Discord, I always love taking suggestions on how we can improve the channel, how we can improve the videos, what things you want to see. If you guys are part of the Patreon, I post all of these early as soon as possible once I make them, just so way you guys know kind of as a Patreon supporting the channel. I really appreciate you guys. We're up to 23 of you guys right now, which is fucking awesome. I post them early on there to let you know what videos to look forward to coming up. So with you guys, this is what we have coming up, just kind of a quick snippet of the videos that we're going to be releasing out. And I'm going to be posting them on Patreon first, just to kind of see when they're going to be coming out. But just to give you a preview, I don't know if you could see, we're doing more tactical videos. We're doing transports, we're doing Grey Knight tactics, we're doing Death Guard tactics, we're doing how to build lists, we're going over secondaries, we're doing how to prepare for a grand tournament, and obviously we're doing this one right now, but also I want to do a general one of how to win more Warhammer 40k games. I think that'll definitely bring more dirtbags to the nation, and it'll definitely help out people that want to just play this game, go to an RTT, play 3 games in a day, and enjoy the day playing the game. And if it improves your game that much more, 1% every single time you play the game, you're gonna start enjoying it more and actually winning games and stuff like that. So I'm super proud of the Dirtbag Nation. I'm super proud of how we did at LVO. And if you guys obviously you didn't see, but I have fucking dice now. The dice came in. So they came in today. We got green for some Death Guard, and we got silvers for some Silver Boys. I can't really show you super clear cut. It's got dirt bags right on it. Yeah, I'm super excited. So I'm going to start posting those up and selling those on Discord as well as Patreons. They always get first pick. But yeah, so a lot coming to the channel. Guys, I really appreciate it. Let me know what you want to see next, and we'll see you in another video soon.